Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all. Also, I would like to owe a debt of gratitude to all the scientists and inventors who make our life more user friendly. So, and for them, we are all gathered in this webinar, even though right now we are all sitting in different areas, miles of away from each other. I'm Dr. Sourav Gangopadhyay, and I'm going to moderate the webinar today. But first, I would like to welcome our distinguished guest, Professor Dhrubasis Sarkar, Mr. Sayok Mazumdar, Mr. Rudra S Mishra, and Dr. Somendranath Bandyopadhyay. So we all are gathered here to discuss about technology, our life, and the world. We will discuss the importance of advancement of technology and what kind of technology will come in future. Actually, technology is seeding our life completely. We can't even think our life without technology. It makes our life easy, and so that we can have opportunity to live a life having higher purpose. So the importance of technology was felt by many great minds long before, and they spent their entire life to invent something for the society which is capable to erase all the difficulties. That is why once Bill Gates said that we are changing the world with technology. Our distinguished guest will explore the vastness of the area covered by technology in different sectors. And they will enlighten us by showing how, with the help of technology, different industries are shaping themselves according to the need of the people. If you join this webinar, you will have a glimpse of the industry which are changing with technology in a way to avoid being an alien once you get the job. So you will definitely be a part of rhythm of industry, and it will make your job life more interesting. Also, I'd like to say that there will be a question answering session. The audience can type the questions in the comment box. Also, to get the participation certificate, the students have to fill up a form. The link will be shared for a few moments. So now let's begin our session by introducing our honorable director of our institution, Dr. Somendranath Bandyopadhyay. Dr. Bandyopadhyay is a doctor by profession and an administrator by choice. He is a vital part of our institution. He has done a great job for HIM and to make a praiseworthy institution. He is a dynamic person, open-minded person. Dr. Bandyopadhyay is a patent holder of an innovative course in pharmaceutical management from HRD Ministry of India. He is also a member of American Astronomical Society, as he has keen interest on this field. He has written several books, several articles, over 50 articles in both national and international journal. So now I would like to invite Dr. Bandyopadhyay to begin the session by introducing the theme of the seminar. Sir.
Thank you, Saurav. Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate Saurav for doing this webinar. And of course, HIM has been pioneering several webinars. And I thank all the speakers who are there. So I'll just, as Saurav was already introduced, but again, thank you, Dr. Dhrubasis Sarkar of AMITY University, Mr. Sayok Mazumdar of Ericsson Global Pvt Limited, and Mr. Rudra S Mishra, Apple certified trainer. So we are very glad to have three of you here, and I am sure that our students who are hearing today and the faculty members will have a gala time, and they will try to understand how the importance of advancement of technology has helped our life. Now, before we go too much details into this webinar, I'll just give some of my life experiences that I had from my childhood, from where you can understand how technologically if things have evolved. Now, when I was a young child, my father used to work in Iraq, and not this Iraq. That Iraq was a bit different. So At that point of time, the only way of communication was telephone and maximum telegram. So nothing else was there. And the Iraq war started, so the Gulf War started, and we were stuck in Iraq for 42 days during that war. And we couldn't communicate to our house here, where my grandfather and grandmother was. And my grandmother would see the television, and every day there were dead bodies shown in the television. And my grandmother thought that that is my grandson, so on and so forth. And it's a very sad thing that my grandmother died 6 days before we reached India. So this is how technology changes life. Today, wherever you are in the world, even right now, today, we are not sitting in the same room. We are not calling one another over the phone, but through the technological development, we are seeing each other. If that time this technology was there, maybe today my grandmother, maybe she would have aged, but at that point she would have lived. So that is how things changed. Now, when I was a young guy, again, from my childhood, I'm coming to my adulthood now a bit. When I was young, like you students, maybe 18, 19 years old, I had gone to Helsinki, Finland, and that was 1998. When I had gone to Helsinki at 1998, I saw technology far, far ahead than us. At that point of time, ATM machines and other things were pretty new in India, or was not just coming. And there it was pretty evident. Even the car, the taxi I took from Helsinki to Viking Ring, where I was staying, he was telling me, should I can pay in debit card, I can pay in check. And it was like, in our Calcutta, all the ambassadors take only cash. So that is how technology had developed in Europe at that point of time. Now India is catching up, of course. India has catched up a lot, and today's generation is seeing India in a pretty developed way, though there are teethering problems. Whenever we are doing these webinars, we see that some of our students always complains that the net is an issue. Your screen is getting stuck. We are hearing some part, we are not hearing some part. Yes, there are problems. I cannot say India is a developed nation right now. There will be problems. But at least we're trying something. Even when the classes are off, still online classes are going on. I know the students are facing certain challenges, but at least we are not stopping knowledge or education. We are taking it forward. So advancement of technology will go on. There is no stoppage in that. Some of you are our astronomy club members. I don't know if you have gone through that. LIGO has seen so many black holes in recent days, which we never had thought. We had thought that black holes would be pretty rare, but now we see in the universe there are so many black holes. So this is how we are seeing the universe, starting from astronomy to our day-to-day classes, to our parents, talking to our parents in WhatsApp calls, so on and so forth. Now you go to a foreign land. A foreign land is not a foreign land now, because from there you can just WhatsApp call your parents, and they will feel that you are, of course, that human touch is not there, but you are kind of at home. So there is advancement in technology. Now I am not a full technology person, so I'll not be able to give you the details of that. Of course, our fellow persons are there, our speakers are there, which will talk in details about the technological development that is happening, and maybe what we are going to see in the future. So we have an Apple person, we have an Ericsson person. So I think they will be talking about what are the new things they are doing, and maybe they can share soon. We can have it in our hand. We were hearing from Apple. I don't know now. This was just a fake news or what, that a 3D phone is coming. So I don't know when it will come, and maybe just not phone calls. We can see the person in front of our in our hand. So like this sci-fi movies. So whatever the movies think, that happens. So you see, we had seen Contagion, and we have coronavirus right now. So things do happen from the movies. So hopefully there will be pretty much development in our country. I thank again all the participants, my students and students of different colleges who are attending this, for attending this webinar. I hope this webinar will give you an insight, and you will, at the end of the day, you will learn a bit more. There will be some problems of net. If there are, then I apologize for that beforehand. And I thank again the webinar team of Sourav, Joita, Subhra, who are doing exceptional work for HIM and helping us conduct so many webinars. So thank you. So Sourav, it is back to you. So please take it over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thrilled to know your past life, and you pointed out that what's the difference between India and European country in terms of technology. Yes, we will achieve that once. I don't know, very soon, maybe. So now it's the time to tells something about a person who is greatly influenced by the advancement of science and technology from his early childhood. He has a keen interest in sustainable development and equal opportunities for all. He started his career as a software trainer and later moved into teaching. He had worked with the Webel Computer Training Center, Brainware Computer Academy, IIHM, ISB, NSHF Knowledge Campus, and he also served as a visiting faculty of Army Institute of Kolkata, IMT, CDL Kolkata chapter, and many others. In 2013, he introduced the MSc in Computer Science program, first time at NSHM as well as MACOUT. Apart from teaching, he contributed in academic administrations for other disciplines too. He was program coordinator for MSc in Computer Science, BCA, MHA program at AMITY University, Kolkata, before taking charge of Information Technology School in 2017. He acted as a founder of HOD simultaneously for School of Business, School of English, School of Applied Psychology, and School of Social Science, and successfully introduced new program like BSc in Geography. He has many publications in reputed national and international journal conference and many books chapter to his credit. Currently, he is serving as an editorial review board member for two reputed international journals. Currently, he is working as assistant director of head of institution of AMITY Institute of Information Technology, AMITY University, Kolkata. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dhrubasis Sarkar. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gangopadhyay. Thank you for your kind introduction. At first I convey my sincere thanks and gratitude to Haldia Institute of Management, senior, the faculty members, the management for giving me the opportunity. I also extend my sincere thanks to both my co-panelists, along with my sincere thanks to you and Dr. Mazumdar, and definitely my dear students. Today's topic is very much interesting. I will try to focus as much as possible in the limited period of time that will be allotted to me. So before that, please allow me for a few seconds to share my slides, share my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, but your sound is a bit low, actually.
Okay, now?
Yeah, now it's
okay.
better. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
I will start with, again, a famous quote from Bill Gates. The philosophy, the main spirit behind this quote is that while you are talking about the advancement of technology, the technology can sustain, the technology can be there if you take this technology in such a way so that you do not need to notice it explicitly. It will be part of your everyday life. So suppose if I take example of telephone, like the mobile phone. Nowadays, it's a part of the life. So now as it is a part of life, so that means people will get the opportunity to use it to the fullest extent to the betterment of the human life. While we are going for to start our discussion on advancement of technology, definitely I think there is not a single audience in this webinar who does not believe that without technology we can sustain. I think for sustaining, for sustainability, for existence, we must look forward towards the technological development. And technology is one thing which actually making us different than the animal. Neither the animal can create the technology, nor they can use the technology. And if we go by the evolution of the human generation, the history of the world, the history of the mankind, we will see that basically along with the evolution of human, that is basically the evolution of technology also. So for example, if you start, that is the industrial ages, so the greatest aspect was the technology. Without technology, we could not think about the industrial age. If we take by name, then that is basically steam engine, electricity, petroleum, and all sort of similar technological advancement, whatever we had, that had a great impact throughout the society, which had changed the society, which had changed the business, and which had changed the human lives also. After that, if we see, that is the coal industry, various textile industries, locomotive industries, different kind of chemical industries, that actually helps the world to be much more closer. Technological advancement after that, if you feel in the field of the medicine and technology, that actually has given a better life. If I go back, if I compare that the average life of today's for a human being, whatever the country, I can take it an example. And if I compare the average life, average basically expectancy and the illness, if you judge the human life in those two parameters, then we'll see that 20 years back, 100 years back, and if I compare it with today's world, then definitely we'll be getting a significant change in that. After that, if we go by the technology, then then the 20th century, if we see that there are many technological advancement took place, the airplane, rocket, electronic, different kind of antibiotics which helps as far as the medicine and the treatments are concerned, nuclear power, which has given us a better life and a secured life. Then in 21st century, with the development, with the advancement of the other fields, the communication technology has got the maximum focus. Even nowadays, if you'd like to communicate, I was listening to the director a few minutes back, and definitely that the fact is very much pathetic. Yes, in today's world, if like not only you can share the message across the country, even you can share the photograph, you can talk, and that is very much cost effective also. It's not that much costly, and easily you can share your data and it's not only the sharing the information between two persons. Nowadays it is very much possible that if you'd like to be treated by a doctor who is staying in some other country, that also you can do it. So you can see that like there is a great improvement as far as the technologies are concerned, and it is so that it actually gives a birth of another contradiction, another debate, that now people spend more time using those devices than face to face. But that is a different issue altogether. I'll be trying to address that issue at the last. Even if I go by the number of cell phones in the world nowadays, which is almost equal to the number of living elements, like the number of people on the world, on Earth. So if I go by those, if I see that the technological advancement, then definitely we can say that advancement of technology is not only was required for our human lives, but that has given a better life for the human, that has given a better life. The average lifespan has been increased, that has given the food, that has ensured the security. And even if you see that today's webinar, we even could not think about similar kind of thing 20 years back. Not only we can basically using those devices earlier, even before, like after the pandemic, all of us we have realized that nowadays that even a cell phone can be an essential. We know many of my friends, it's not that they are using laptop, they actually run their office by using cell phone. You can shop, even you can get the medical care also at home by using those cell phone and other technologies. So technology is basically, advancement of technology is very much required, and it is not only making our life better, but it is actually helping us to be independent to some extent. Yes, in one side we are dependent on technology, that is fine, but definitely in other side, if you see that we can independently do many things with the help of the technology. If I talk about the 10 technological advancements which have changed the world, then I will be naming the following technologies, although I have taken a limited list here to only restrict myself within the allotted time. So the technologies, we know that most of the technologies, in some of the cases, I'll be giving one or two examples. So electricity has changed the world from the electricity for light to each and every equipment nowadays is based on electricity. Without electricity, we cannot even think the world that we are seeing today. So this is also again one impact of technological advancement. The laser is having many uses in the like as far as the treatments are concerned, as far as the not only in the medical sector but in other sectors also. Laser is having huge potential. Even the high-speed internet connection nowadays that we get, that is basically through the fiber optic cable. But the fiber optic cable has been initially started with laser. After that, the scientists have realized that the laser is having some problem. So that's why that has been changed to basically with the like LED and photodiode. But initially that has been started with basically laser diode. Semiconductor chips, which has introduced the revolution in the field of smartphone, in the field of computer. And nowadays, you know, possibly from medicine to agriculture to every aspects of human life, the business, computer is an essential part. And the computer we can get by only means of semiconductor chips. Even not only computer, if I talk about a air conditioning machine, if I talk about a refrigerator, that is also based on the semiconductor chips. To take the computation in a faster way, that modern computing techniques that came, that is basically a quantum computing. Quantum computings are basically is much more faster than the computing devices that we see. There are many unsolved problems in the world which actually will be taking say 10 to the power n years to solve. So suppose if I take example of a genome project, if you'd like to decode the human gene of any person, that it is so complex that the modern computer, if you use, that will be taking few hundred, few thousand years. Within quantum computing, within few hours, we can decode the gene. So definitely, all you will know that quantum computing has not been developed fully yet. But again, we expect that in coming years, definitely the quantum computing will be there, and many other problems which are basically required to be solved for the better human life will be addressed. The elevator, if you see about any smart city, any modern city, you cannot think about a city without elevator. The Human Genome Project, few minutes back, I have mentioned, that is also, you can talk about the advancement of technology. The automobile industry, the global positioning system, if you'd like to know that the current location of any person, and even it's not only for knowing the person for, say, suppose Ola or Uber or similar kind of car, but it is required also for a doctor and patient. If you'd like to know that where is the patient, for that also we can utilize global positioning system. And all of us will do understand that the use of smartphone in various areas. As I came to know that the majority of the students are with the basically healthcare background, so I'll try to focus next two slides that what are the impact of the technology or technological advancements is there in as far as the healthcare is concerned. So first of all, the digitization of health record has helped to provide a better support to the patient. Once if you have a digitalized healthcare, so suppose you are moving from one city to another city, and if your entire information is stored within in the form of a digitized health record, then your health record also move to one hospital where the first time you are going. So instead of the formal test, the hospital can easily come to know that about your disease, about your all other background story that is required to treat you. And definitely that will minimize the healthcare cost also, because if I know that I am suffering, if my blood group has been identified, if my other measures are already there, then definitely the treatment can be started immediately if like required for me. The data can be stored into big data and the cloud computing. The term big data is basically wherever you are having a large volume of like data. So now with the help of the technology, we have system where the X-ray or different kind of clinical test can be done by means of AI and similar kind of tools. So now for that reason, what we need is basically the big data like processing. So big data may be in a structured form, it may be a semi-structured form, or it may be an unstructured form. And once the data has been processed, the data can be put into a cloud, not into a centralized computer. The problem with the centralized computer is that while the person or the patient is moving from one place to another place, into the target location, the centralized computer may not be accessible. But if the data you stored in cloud, then the advantage in this case is that the doctor, the other hospitals, they can easily get the access of the data from cloud. So that is also, again, we can tell about our technological advancement in the field of healthcare and how healthcare is using it, the technological advancement. All the examples I've given for that is basically part of information and communication technology. So I'm not telling explicitly. Few minutes back, I have given an example that being a patient in India, you can be treated by any doctor who is located in any other city or even any other country. That we know as an example as a telemedicine. So telemedicine also, if you think, that is also again an like result from the advancement of the technology. Nowadays, the mobile app technology is extensively being used. It's not only being used to store the medical records or to see the report or to share the report with the doctors, but the mobile devices also can be used to take the basic measure. So suppose there are mobile devices which are sensor, which can read your heartbeat, which can even take your measure different kind of measures, and then those data without your knowledge, the data can be shared with your like doctor or the hospital where you are being treated. So while you are moving from one place to another place while holding a cell phone in your hand, the cell phone or the basically smartwatch, they can easily help the doctor and the healthcare industry to provide you the better support. And it is not only for the physical health. Nowadays, so there are many mobile app development like which are being used to judge your mental health also. In my university, my school, along with School of Psychology, we are actually like working on such kind of funded projects where we are trying to judge the condition of a patient by the mental condition here. So that is also again one advancement of technology in the case of healthcare. So if we would like to name 5 such technologies, we can tell that already we have discussed about the electronic health records, telemedicine and telehealth. The example I have given. Remote monitoring tool means suppose you are located here, you are wearing something, you are visiting a place, your measure like different kind of parameters, say suppose your blood pressure, your heartbeat, that is being shared with your doctor, and doctor or nurse, they are actually going to monitor you. So you are being monitored from a distance location. And it's not only with the patient, it can be from the hospital to doctor. So suppose or suppose a patient is admitted in a critical care unit, you want the doctor's attention, or specialist doctor's attention, but you cannot expect that the specialist doctor will be always like available side by the patient. So what you can do, you can share, you can have such kind of tools so that the patient data can be shared with the doctor, and doctor can remotely monitor the condition of the patient, which is available in many hospitals, even in our state. Almost all the standard hospitals are having such kind of facilities. Wearable technology, that is Internet of Things, where you can wear one kind of device, that the example I have given, smartwatch, and then your smartwatch is taking different kind of measure, and then the information is being shared with the hospital or your doctor. So that is also helping you to maintain a better health. And genome sequencing is one of the projects that has been taken, although very less we have expert. Genome sequencing or the genome project is actually try to decode the human gene and then trying to understand. Once you can decode the entire human gene, then it will be very much possible for you to cure any sort of disease, because you know most of the cases that disease are basically because of gene. So if you can do some changes like one of the Indian scientists, and he's a Bengali, I feel proud to share the name, that is Siddhartha Mukherjee, who is actually working on basically the gene editing, gene like decoding. So if you can do the sequencing properly, then definitely you can decode the gene, and you can replace that code of the gene which is basically causing cancer for a patient. So that in the next time the first person will not have the cancer, or definitely the inheritance when that the new generation will come from that person, they will not have the similar kind of like diseases. So if I would like to summarize all those points, you can tell that there are 10 different technologies which are actually changing the healthcare, starting with artificial intelligence, virtual reality and augmented realities are also helping a lot. Virtual reality means you are getting, so virtual reality and augmented reality are contributing a lot as far as the learning stages of the doctors are concerned. There are different kind of healthcare trackers, wearable and sensors. The example I have given few minutes back. The medical tricorder is basically a device, which is a handheld device, which are actually trying to measure, which are actually helping you to measure your different kind of conditions of the pressure and other parameters. Genome sequencing already I have discussed. Drug development, computer plays a major role in drug development, because you know that in majority of the cases you do not get that much of time to test that drug on different kind of animals or human beings. So what you can do is that the drug development, you can do it, and you can see the impact of a drug on, say, suppose gene, or say suppose on some cell. So that you can have the simulated program using computing, where you can do something very drastically, very like rapidly. Otherwise, if you would like to test it on the human beings or others, that will take more time. Nanotechnology is having a great application nowadays. You are actually, if you want a person to be treated or to be tested, you can enter a nanotechnology chip which can swim in your blood, which can roam around your blood, which can take different measure, and which can pass signal to the device, and the device can take the measure. Robotics are being used to do the critical operations nowadays. I know one of the hospitals have seen in the case of one of my close relatives, where the robotics is being used to stop the type of very critical brain operation, surgical operation, without any sort of risk. We can do it through basically robotics. 3D printing is also helping you to print the diagram along with not only in 2D shape but in 3D shapes, so that you can get a clear picture of the anatomy. So 3D printing is also, you can see, you can take it as a technology, emerging technology, which are basically changing the healthcare. Is my time over, or can I take it for another 5-7 minutes? Mr. Gangopadhyay, like Dr. Gangopadhyay, can I continue for another 5-7 minutes?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So while we are going for the technological development, now all the technology is not being like accepted by us. So I'll be just in connection with the technological advancement. I'm trying to take you to another aspects. I think this is much more interesting, that how people accept technology when the technology comes. How do we react? So there is a term, I am sure that many of you are familiar with the term that we refer, is basically the disruptive technology. Now the term disruptive technology is basically, the term has been introduced by one of the professor at Harvard Business School. His name was basically Clinton M. Christensen. He has written a book. The name of the book was The Innovator's Dilemma. There, first time he has introduced a term called disruptive technology. Now, disruptive technology is actually a technology which you see in today's world. Today, the technology may not be appears as that much promising. I'll be giving you 1 or 2 examples. But over time, the technological advancement took place into that. In near future or after a few years, you'll see that the current technology, which you find that is not that much potential in today's world, that technology may replace any of the existing technology in future. So the technology that you see in today's world, which is not that much promising, we refer it basically as a disruptive technology, which is basically a new emerging technology, right? I'll give you an example. So suppose if I take about the camera, I do still remember after completion of my university education, when I have entered into job first time, when I was planning to buy a camera at that point of time, there were few names that were very common at that point of time who were very famous in the field of camera. I think many of you may have used those cameras, or you know it. So I can take one such example is suppose Canon, or another example I can talk about, that is Kodak. Now, if I take the timeline, say up to 2002, 2015, Kodak camera was very much popular by paying 5,000-6,000 rupees at that point of time, or a bit costly one was costing about 8,000 to 10,000 rupees at that point of time. The camera were very much popular. And at that point of time, all the mobile companies, manufacturer at that point of time, Nokia was one of the market player in the field of making cell phone, making mobile phone. So Nokia has introduced a phone. I do remember some of my colleagues, they brought the phone, came up with a camera whose capacity was 1.3 megapixel. Now, I was discussing the same fact with one of the person who was basically known as one of the reputed engineer in the field of digital camera at that point of time in Kolkata. So all of them, they were very much sure that a Nokia or a phone coming with 1.3 megapixel camera cannot replace a camera, a dedicated camera of Kodak, or suppose a dedicated camera from Canon. Because at that point of time, Kodak or Canon, by paying say 6,000 to 7,000 rupees, it was providing say 8 to 10 megapixel camera with many other zoom and other features. So, but you see, after within it took only 3 to 4 years, not much more than that. Kodak was the most, or the biggest camera selling company in the world at that point of time, Kodak and Canon both. If you look for a normal camera, there were only one competitor for Kodak, that was Canon. Within only 3 to 4 years of time, after that, I hope all of you know that what happened with Kodak camera. Now, if somebody is charging 1,000 rupees to buy a Kodak camera, I think many of us will not agree to buy, because we know that my cell phone is producing a better. Now, any of the cell phones are coming up with 13, 14, 15, 20, 30, like 25 megapixel camera. So at that point of time, the 1.3 megapixel camera coming up with the cell phone was a disruptive technology. Now, if you see this diagram, here you will see that whatever customer wants, that is basically you can consider about this green line. Now, if you see at the time, at that point of time, if you see that the line below the green line, that is the line in pink, that was basically of low quality use. Now, if you see, now a person is basically, my expectation is at the green arrow level. The low quality use is this one, the pink one, and high quality use is this one, and on the top we have the most demanding use. Now, if you see this, the disruptive technology curve, which has been started from here, and then up to this point, if you see, this is an inferior technology. While it is crossing the green line below that, if you take the left side of that intersection of the green line and the disruptive technology, that technology is basically is an inferior quality. So if you take example of 1.3 megapixel of camera, but then after that, over time, you'll see that will exceed the existing technology, and this is how the technology, that the camera with a cell phone has replaced the concept of basically buying a mobile camera, or buying a tape recorder, or buying a music player. Very less of us, we until or unless it is a specialized and a very costly music player, all of us, we are comfortable with the music player that we get with our cell phone. So that has replaced all those products. So 20 years back, 10 years back, or 5 years back, those technologies were as a disruptive technology. So whenever any new technology comes in the market, with the advancement of the technology, initially we see the technology as a disruptive technology. say 20 years back, air conditioning machine or refrigerator were considered as a luxury item, but now it's not a luxury item. So over technology, it has, if people have equipped, people have used those, and the technology also has been developed a lot, so that become a part of our daily life. So as a conclusion, if you'd like to conclude today's session, so we cannot escape from the technology. Now, how much then? There is a contradiction, as initially I told, that people can tell, okay, the technology has actually helped US to throw bomb on Japan. Yes, that is true, but it's not that the technology is basically responsible for that. It's only the American policy who has used the atomic power to destroy the country. The same atomic power can be used for the treatment. The same atomic power can be used for electricity, which can change the world. Any sort of technology, if it is being used, again, if we take it the example of COVID, and if we, I am not sure, we are not sure, although this is a man-made virus or not, but again, we got some points, some contradiction were there. Some of the scientists, they told that the COVID has been created in the lab, but again, for that you cannot blame the technology for that. It's, you can blame the scientist if it has been used for doing harm for the basically mankind. But there are many use. If I consider about the gene editing, there are many diseases which are basically going to be out from world in next few years only because of gene editing. The example of I have given that the Siddharth Mukherjee, who is actually working on the cancer cell, and who is trying to edit the genome, edit the gene of a cancer cell, so that the person will not suffer cancer in future. He's trying, and he got success to some extent, and I am sure that in next couple of years he'll get full success of it. So how you are using the technology, how much you will allow it to rule you, that is actually entirely in your hand. If you can use it systematically, if you can use the technology like properly, then definitely it will help the advancement of the world, and definitely we can sustain not only on the earth, but in near future we are looking for to go to some other planets also. This is only possible only because of technology. So thank you for listening to me. Those are the references that I have used to make my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have pointed out how human being changed our, how we human being changed our life with technology. You talked about history of development of technology. You have pointed out the technology ensures many things. It ensures comfort. It ensures security. It ensures independence. You pointed out the necessity of quantum computer in our life, though it's not yet came. Also, you talked about big data and also the various technologies used in healthcare industry. Also, how we can take help from IT in healthcare industry. And lastly, you pointed out how we can use technology in drugs development and genetics. Thank you very much, sir. We are honored to have a great administrator, a great teacher, and a great speaker like you. Your presence really makes us thrilled and honored. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now it's the time to hear from industry people, because they are directly related to industry and they know what is going on in industry. We are fortunate enough to have someone who has more than 16 years of multiple cross-domain experience in media, enterprise, telecom sector. He has contributed in core telecom network, cloud, container infrastructure, orchestration, and automation, software development and deployment, and technical pre-sales. He worked for most of the tier 1 vendors all around the globe, and traveled to many countries, interacting with various customers, and understanding their business objectives and providing optimal solution. He is very passionate about learning new things, make new design, sharing knowledge, and work as a big team. At the end, he is a joyful person. He believes that only a free and happy mind can yield a beautiful innovation and innovative impression. Please welcome Mr. Sayok Mazumdar.
Thank you, Saurav.
Thank
It
you,
was
sir.
a good introduction. Okay, so yep, uh, and I'm really glad to be here actually, and I believe that this particular topic is really going to, help us understand that where are you going actually. So ever since we have stepped into 1900 century, we have been actually moving into, into a stage of industrializations, new technologies, new innovations, and if you look at the past 100 years, you will find that we have evolved a lot actually. So before I continue into that, I'd just like to say hello and good afternoon, everyone. My co-panelists, all the dignitaries, all the all the viewers and the students. And I would like to just tell that I am a senior architect and I work for Ericsson Global. Even though I have worked for previously worked for media, enterprise, and all other domains, but right now I am more into the telecom business and telecom sector. And you see that for any like what Professor Dhrubasis has just mentioned, he really explained really well about the disruptive technologies and all the advancement of the new technologies. So everything is there at the place, but what is important is the communication, which is the backbone of all this all these technologies to work around. So today I'd like to share with you my experience around 5G, because I believe that this different Gs, 2G, 3G, 4G, we heard a lot about it, but we never, most of us are, having a lot of questions like what it is all about, what it's actually going to give us. Okay, so I will basically would like to share my screen, okay, and then I will would like to talk about the 5G. It's most essentially like how it is bringing the digital transformation, which is very important here, which is more far or less it is just associated with the disruptive technologies. And also I will just like to talk about like how 5G being a prime enabler is going to give like paving a way for the advanced technologies. So let me share my screen quickly, and let me know if it is if you can share it.
Yes, it's there. Yeah, we can see
Is
that.
there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So let me take it to full screen. Okay, so here you see that we will. So what we know that our lives, ever since we have got into this, the first time Reliance, brought in this. I mean, we in India we got into our mobile telecommunication in the year late, uh, you know 90s actually, or late 2000 I would say. So there we started off with 1G, and then we got this first network by Airtel, and there were few others like Hutchins and all. So we actually talked about 2G, 3G, 4G, and they all revolutionized the way we live our lives actually. So when it comes to 5G, what it is actually, so when it is all about 5G. It is not only about fast and fast, but it is all about always fast. It's just that we get a constant speed at a very fast rate. We know that in the recent study, in a kind of a mobility report that Ericsson publishes every year, it just says that the global data traffic is kind of a doubling every 18 months, and the world demand for high-speed connectivity increases every second. So people, we are using games, so we are using our mobiles for games, videos, movies, and now online classes during this post-COVID situation has emerged a lot. So data increase has doubled actually. The one that we we have thought that it will just go in a uniform way of getting into a like doubling is usage, but in this COVID situation, people have clinged into mostly into data usage. So it's now getting very faster. And that's why the demand for 5G has evolved a lot. Even though in India we have 4Gs, we have got it very, very just recently by Jio and Airtel, and Vodafone is now bringing it on. Now with that, we're not even using the 4G technologies optimally. We're just using kind of like a 20% of it. Okay, but 4G has also its lot of opportunity, a lot of potentials. Even if we get it, we can actually, we will be very happy with whatever 4G has the capability to provide us. So 5G, when it, so that is why actually 5G comes when we need more data. So that is the next evolution. In other countries, in Western countries where they have exhausted the usage of 4G, now they're getting into 5G, and they need more data. So what it is actually, like I just said that with 5G, the things are faster, the data is doubling, and then every second it is doubling. And that is where actually 5G comes and very efficiently providing the capacity of massive data growth. So data is everywhere, and we need data. Uh, uh, so for even we do data mining, we because earlier the data is used to be very expensive. Storing of data is expensive. Now the hardware has become cheaper. We can store more data, but to get more data, we need a faster speed and importantly secure and stable, which has to be more reliable connection, backbone. And for that, the 5G, the fifth generation cellular networks, it brings those new capabilities that will create opportunities for not only for people, business, and for the entire society. Let me move to the next slide. Actually, okay, here you will see that uh, like all the different sectors of 5G. So like I just said, that high speed, this is very important that it has to come, it has to be there, always. Fast and uninterrupted. I have already talked about that this is very important, that the speed, the availability of the communication has to be uninterrupted. It can be shared, it can be like a streaming, and the browsing should not be like there should not be any disruption there. Then what is all about the speed? The speed is not just speed, it's about the latency, low latency. Low latency is just all about that where there is a very reduced resistance. That means we can talk about thousands of milliseconds of latencies. That means whenever I, I tell something to you, it just goes instantaneously. It should reach to you at the same point of time, and that will give rise to and new use cases, new kind of requirement, and those requirements I will talk about. That remote sensing, like remotely we can operate on a patient who is sitting into some remote village. So a doctor who is sitting at some city in his clinic with 5G, when he moves his hand and like operates something very critical thing, okay, so there should not be any delay. He moves a millimeter, the same should happen at 1,000 miles away at a very faster time. No delay, zero latency. So like I just said, it's just all about elevating reality that even further. It just should feel like that it's just happening next to you, right? So and then the last thing is that so like there are many consortium around, like 3GPP is the standard body. Okay, it's a third generation partnership project. They are the part of the IATF actually. So they are actually responsible for writing all the technical specs actually, and they did it in their release version 15, where they have penned down all the 5G data technologies, and based on which different companies, different vendors and partners are developing different products around it. moving to the technology point of view. So from technology point of view, what it brings actually? The first thing it brings is the IoT, Internet of Things. We have heard a lot about it. Internet of Things, what it is actually. So it means that everything, everywhere, we use, they should be connected. We call it a connected world, a connected society. That everything we actually do by ourselves manually, first of all, it will happen in automated way, and they are all connected. So we call it internet because so that we can do it remotely, anywhere sitting, anywhere in the world, right? So it will make the society more sustainable, increase the resource efficiency. So this is the prime requirement of the IoT, that it has to make the society more sustainable. Now, like connecting vehicle, this is very important. You have also heard about it, like the connected vehicles, connected cars. So how it will help? So when all the cars are talking to themselves, there will be very, very less chance of accidents. They will know that there is a car coming near to it. It will just give a space to it, right? So, like if you're just going and passing through a junction, and maybe there is some car is coming to the other side which is hidden, right? The driver is not able to look at it. But if they are connected, automatically the other car will detect it and it will just stop itself. So for this to happen, this needs to happen in a fraction of a second. Okay, like the way our mind actually, take all the decisions. In that way, this has to happen with a very strong and reliable communication channel, and that 5G brings to us. The most important is other thing is that save lives and dedicated at the critical services. So critical services are like the emergency services. So whenever there is an earthquake, okay, or anything like any emergency or any accidents happens, right? So there, and where the people cannot reach, like to at some remote village. So this will actually help to with the use of drones, or like people who are stranded there. With 5G, it can be communicated. We can send out the drones with the live with the live channel of communication. We can reach there. We can send them the all the important all the necessary medicines, or the help, right? Then few other examples that 5G will help to evolve. Smart cities. So in India, you have heard about the smart cities. So what makes you smarter? The, the, the smartness is all about the speed, the faster, the reliability, and then the consistency. Okay, and then what is very, very much required is the interconnectivity, the communication. So we have the CCTV cameras at the at the various roads, and in Kolkata we have many of them on the Ma flyover, even on the EM bypass, even inside the cities. So what it does, so whenever you speed up out of the speed limit, it automatically captures your number and do a faster processing by sending all the information to the central server, and it just sends to your mobile through WhatsApp or SMS that you have have just broke this particular rule, and now you have to pay this penalty, right? So this has to happen very faster. Even we can avoid accidents. Even we can catch any criminals, who are just on run. So that is for one of the example of connected things, right? So smart city is there. Then telesurgery. I just told you about that. That a far from your home or from a clinic, a doctor can perform any surgery, right? Even doctor cannot, where doctor cannot reach, or like the things are expensive, or even at any hospital at a remote village, at some rural area where doctor cannot reach, but with this robot can perform all this surgery at the same time, and no delay is allowed here. Fleet management is very one of the very important use case here. Remote banking, for the banking sector to give remote services to their customers, give them kind of all the banking services at a very faster time, because The money transaction has to be secured, reliable, and there should not be any drop of communication, right? So remote banking, becomes very efficient. Optometry, yes, for the anything related to optometry for the eye surgery is one of the important one that is also related with the telesurgery, and that is also the public rural healthcare. I've already talked about it. So these are all related, but for this to happen, a stronger communication is very important. Now, how 5G and advanced technology can change our life and society. So 5G unlocks cutting edge ways of improving safety and sustainability. So one of the things what it is giving back to people life, our common citizens, to our society. So the one of the so the first one is the smarter electricity grid for greatly reduce carbon emissions. So this is one of the important contribution to a healthier society to reduce the carbon emission. More connected vehicles sharing data to prevent road collisions. I have already talked about that. Faster deployment of emergency services to accidents, connected sensors that can detect and warn the natural disasters early. So this is one of the important area, that where we keep on collecting data, so we can predict what is going to happen in the near future if we have a pool of huge data. So the collection of data is very important, and we should be able to detect a small change in a remote location, and it should come at a very fast rate to a centralized server, so that it can do some data mining using to the big data technologies, then artificial intelligence and machine learning, all these new technologies. And with the help of this new technologies, it can detect, it can predict, and it can warn, and it can stop, right? So it can help to stop human lives. It can help to can actually reduce the any damage, all this around. Drone becoming a key tool to accelerate and support emergency situation response, which I have already talked about. Remote expertise with specialists smoothly consulting and diagnosing patients elsewhere. So, like I just talked about, like a remote, telesurgery or remote consulting where doctors cannot reach, right? So 5G is the foundation for the flexible, efficient, and responsible business. So it is actually transforming industries. So first is the society changing people's life, and then the important one is the industrialization. So we have started off our industrialization since the early or late 1900, late 1800, right? Centuries. Now we have come to a stage where we need to transform our industrialization to the next stage. Now and communication and 5G will bring this change in a very faster rate. So the production lines autonomously reacting to the supply and demand. With the faster communication, it will automatically can track that where is the demand and how much does the supply chain has to be maintained. Digital replicas can warn about real machinery faults and ahead of time. Smart banking about faster banking value added services to the customer securely. Greater realism in the VR and AR. So VR and AR is nothing but it's a virtual reality, artificial reality, right? So so there you can actually create you can artificially design and like any to any extent, right? And with the latest devices coming into industries, and that also includes the entertainment and engaging education. With the online classes started off with the AR VR, you can easily help students to understand something happening at the real time, right? You can just put some 3D object in front of them, they can play around. So the things are very kind of a fun, and as well as the education will be very faster. Also, it can also help in architecting designs, making anything manual, creating a manual, like a design takes time. But if you have, this virtual reality, then it can happen in a very quick time. remote access to powerful robots and vehicles for improved safety in risky environments. That makes telesurgery and optometry procedures seamless and efficient. I just talked about that. It's all about the robotics that has the communication channel at the backbone, and that is through the 5G only. Increased use of IoT in agriculture to efficient grow crops and many more, right? So, like when it is all connected, when we can actually detect the status of like what is happening at the real time, be it at the agriculture, be it at the public health, or be it anywhere, right? So we can easily take the decisions faster. Now, I'm just two slides away. So, and then I will just finish it off. So this is the all the key areas actually which are helping in this digital transformation. Okay, so this network transformation that 5G is bringing on is fully supported by this latest technology, and there we call it a technological shift. That means the advancement that is bringing on in the current like globally it is everywhere. All the latest technologies are enabling the digital technologies, digital transformation. The first one is the open standards. There are many open standards technologies around, and adopting to the open standards are giving a very faster adaptation of new technologies, faster integration, faster implementation. Cloud technologies is very important. It is everywhere. I believe most of us knows about it. Edge computing is helping to reach to the far end, to the corners where regular, this radio waves or tower cannot reach. So there are multiples. Many of these cells can be put into the remote locations and everywhere, and it can capture the data, right? So you do not have to lose data, or you do not have to look for the tower in your mobile or in your device, right? It will be everywhere. It will be capturing in a very faster manner. Advanced clouds. We have many new advancing happening into the radio, into the RAN. Actually, RAN area is a radio access network. That is the endpoint that actually sends all the waves, all the mobile communication through radio waves and all, right? Then automation is very important. Everything has to be. I mean, what we look for is a zero-touch automation, right? It's kind of everything will happen by itself. It will itself detect it. It will take the decision by itself, and it will fix it. We call it a closed loop automation. Is a very important one. So it will fix it by itself. So it's all about it. Cloud native container applications are making the application run very faster. Unlike we used to, do our desktop application, or they're kind of heavy. So right now, applications are being made in a very small footprint, and they can run anywhere, any lightweight platform, and they are very fast. Okay, and what is important with them that they are very much resilient, right? So if they go down, the other will take up, right? So there is no downtime. AI and ML, artificial intelligence. Earlier, artificial intelligence in 90s, we have heard about it, but that did not, just like flew very well. But now data is everywhere. So we have a lot of data. We can accumulate data, and now we can do the data mining and all the stuff, and can apply the artificial intelligence and machine learning, all about the self-learning, understanding what is happening is kind of a new area where the machines all will learn what is actually going on. It will, and then adapting to the system, and then it will start taking the decisions, and you do not have to push your logic to take the decision based by your ways, but the machine itself will take the decisions by its own way. Big data is already there, with the big pool of data. We just maintain a data lake, and we just store the data there. DevOps is all about the CI/CD. It's just based on the agile principles. It's just about the the life cycle, how we maintain, how we manage the development of an application, or like whatever changes is happening into that technology, right? So this has to happen faster. the time to market has to become faster and flawless, and and it should happen in a continuous fashion. There should be no like a stop, right? Okay, no pause. It should happen in the continuous fashion. Continuously just integrate, the continuous develop, and then the continuous deliver and deploy, right? So it's all about it. And the reliability engineering is about how you actually look into the entire system that is running, right? So how you just make sure that that they are running good, right? So you need to make sure that your system is running good, there's no fault. So you need to take care of the alarms, its performance, So you need to be always in the observing mode, right? And you should make sure that your system is reliable. So there's an engineering around it. It is also an advanced technology. So these are all the latest technologies around that is, bringing the change. At the end of my presentation, I will just say that by making technology easy to use, adopt, and scale, right? Our aim is to drive society forward, unlock new opportunities and innovation, right? With digital transformation paving the path toward a fully connected world, a connected society, and that will give us a new, uh, advanced technological shift, right? So I will rest my, uh, my presentation here. If there's any questions, you are free to ask me, and that's it from my side. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm quite sure that our audience will be delighted to hear that some technologies are coming soon, which were found in science fiction movies, but now it's become a reality. In a way, we have an opportunity to make our life as a science fiction movie. So yes, indeed, it's true that most important issue in today's life, today's time, is low internet speed, especially in these rural area. In that case, taking advantage from internet is like a dream for rural and semi-urban people. But internet is absolutely necessary. Civilization without internet is like fish without water. In this situation, high speed internet is required most. In this situation, 5G shows that our dream is going to be true very soon, and we are thrilled to know that how 5G will bring revolution in healthcare industry, banking industry, transportation, and many more. We are also surprised to know that 5G will take a part in the process of pollution control. It will enhance the process of navigation, and it is absolutely not the case that 5G will only provide the opportunity to download movies or games in high speed. It's certainly not the case, but instead of that, we can say that life before 5G and life after 5G is like life before computer and life after iPhone. Thank you for sharing those information, which cannot be found in any book. And your way of presentation makes me realize that innovation requires free and happy mind. Thank you very much, sir. Also, I can see some questions from students, and they are all answered by Dhrubasis, sir. Thank you again, sir. So now let me introduce our last keynote speaker, who is from Bangalore, whose contribution in IT industry is huge. He has over 12 years of experience in software industry, including computer science, technology, implementation, as well as the app development. Recently, he is associated with multiple prestigious organizations as an advisory board member, where he helps the organization to adopt a new cutting edge technology to boost their business process and sustain in the competitive marketplace. Apart from working on a core technical aspect, he is also involved in content creation, blogging, conducting technologies awareness program. So please welcome Mr. Rudra S Mishra.
Thank you, Sourav. Hope you can hear me. Am I audible? Yeah, good.
Yes,
nice.
yes.
Thanks for the confirmations. First of all, I would like to congratulate the HIM management and the whole team. I mean, you people bring such a nice webinar to create the technological awareness in the industries. And it is a very important in today's context, right? So fortunately, we have a great speaker like Mr. Sayok and Dr. Dhrubasis, who are already explained a lot about the technology, how they impact in our current life and all those things. So I'm not going to repeat those lines because I think they have explained in a very well manner. What I'm going to do is, with the extension of their talk, I will try to give some kind of a real-time example so that you can relate them with your with your educations and your professional lives, right? So with much ado, let me show my screen because I also have some kind of a presentations to show you people. Okay, so here is my keynote. Please confirm that whether my screen is visible or not.
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay, super,
yeah.
super. Thanks for the confirmation. All right. As you already seen or experienced that we are just surrounded by the technologies. So without technologies, living in this particular earth right now is almost impossible. Okay. And of course, Professor Dhrubasis also say that every things which bring to a human's life having the dark and bright sides. So anyway, we only talk about the positive places, positive areas. So that is nothing but the bright areas. So we're just going to see that how these technologies actually enhance our day-to-day life, right? So if I just talk about from the good night to from your good morning to good night, we are actually using the lots of technologies in our life, right? But I wanted to focus only the technologies where the computer science is involved. Okay, you may say that okay, for everywhere there is a computer science. Actually, not. For example, in the morning, you used to brush your teeth. I think everyone does, right? So when you are brushing the teeth, that is also a technology. When you are riding a cycle, that is also a technology. When you are riding a bike, that is also a technology. When you are driving a car, that is also a technology, right? But when you are making a smart car or self-driving car, then it is called the computer science involvement. So everything are technologies, but I'm only going to focus where you are implementing the computer science. Okay. Uh, of course, the communications. Mr. Shaik told you that what is the importance of all our connectivities, the 4G and the upcoming 5Gs, all those things, right? So it is very important because today, I'm sitting in a Bangalore, and we are communicating with you people who are sitting in the Kolkata areas, and we are communicating flawlessly. We are running some 1.5 hours of seminars without a phone calls. I mean, this is the blessing of the technology. We can't ignore this. We have to take this bright side of the technology. All right. So today's date, most of the times we believe on the social media interactions, browsing the website, sending the huge information through the mails. You know, lots of things are there and which we use in our daily basis. So it is not just once in a while. Every day we are doing this kind of things. And right now we are doing the video conference, right? Most important aspect in today's context, like this pandemic context. So all the classes, all the meetings, everything's are happening over the video conference, right? And if you take into the further level, and we have a home entertainments that is also full of your computer technologies involved over there. So for example, you know, like Netflix, Amazon Prime, okay, lots of other brands are there who are providing lots of features for your entertainment purpose. So that's why you have a smart TVs, TV boxes, voice assistants, you know, voice assistants like a Siri and all those things, right? So who going to guide you, who can take your commands and execute whatever the task you wanted to perform, right? So these are actually tremendous technologies which actually make our life so easy. Okay, and today's scenario, we can't think a single day without them, right? And of course, I think Mr. Shaikh just talked about this one, IoT, and of course, internet connectivities are involved over there. So Internet of Things, which is allow you to control and monitor your nearby peripherals and gadgets. Like for example, nowadays using the IoT, you can control the whole home appearance. I mean, complete the home systems, like from your fan to AC to lights to microwave to your dishwasher to your washing machine to your coffee machines. Everything you can control using this IoT concept. That's single app installed in your smartphone, and you act just like a smart, right? So all those things are available, and of course, because of the blessing of this technology and advancement, right? And these impact of these technologies are more in the education fields, because why I'm saying this more, whenever the new technologies appears in the market, they try to implement this one in the education field first, because students should be get benefit from the technology, and then only they will take it forward to the society, right? So that is the motto of giant organization, the technological giants like Apple, Google, or your Microsofts, right? So they are first implementing things for the students, for the education industries, and then put it back to your society. So exactly, that's why we are also blessed with those technology as a students, as a education professionals, you know, all those areas. And from past 3 to 4 months, I think you like or not, you are actually depends on this particular technology only. So sitting at your home, attending your lecturers, presentations, notes, doing some assignments over online, you know, all those things you are actually doing. And the platforms, whether it is from the Cisco or from Zoom or from Microsoft, they create a tremendous platforms to have a seamless, flowless, you know, uh, processes, so that we can actually be always on a advanced pages, you know. So we learned everything over the, I mean, using the computer or the smartphone. That is what I wanted to mean over here. And I believe most of you are belongs to the health industry, right? As HIM institutes are dedicated for this particular area. So I just wanted to highlight certain areas, like how these technologies are impacting the health industry. So after the education industry, health industry is one of the major area. Okay. Uh, so just let me tell you, the data nowadays you are using for our health industry are increasing in a drastical way in day by day. Okay, this is the rapid growing happening over there. All right, and where are you going to save those data? Like a normal paper and pencil, writing on the paper using pencils and all those things, that is a old age thing. And seriously talking about the trillions of data writing on the papers, it is almost towards impossible. Okay, so you have to depend on the technology, and that's why lots of big companies come with ERP model and CMR models. Okay, so these are the systems which is going to take all your information, put it into their systems, and display in front of you whenever you are looking for that. And whenever you are approaching to these things, we always talk about make sure your data are secure, make sure the system you are using is easy to use. So user awareness is important in this particular case, and of course the affordable. So it should not be very expensive, right? If it is very expensive, then most of the people won't utilize it, rather certain big giant companies, right? But that is should not be the target. Earning, of course, earn it, but make sure it is going to support the society in a various way. So make sure your system is very affordable, so that people can utilize it from the, I mean, it should not be burdened to their pocket, right? And it should be easy to use so that you can train your people and they can easily adopt those technologies, right? And of course, the secure. So data loss is a big loss nowadays. It is a bigger loss than even the money loss, you know, nowadays. So if you lost a certain data from our banking systems, the bank almost going to be collapsed. So remember, data security is a important aspect in today's scenario. And similarly, there are certain technologies are already involved, already created in your medical industry, that is called the data analysis for the medicines. So those data, whatever you have collected, it's stored in a certain areas, and through that data, you can create lots of case studies. Okay, so like patient's records, some kind of treatment records, some kind of procedures information. So you just club all together and then you just create some kind of a data analysis. Now, what this data analysis does is very simple. It will give you suggestion or create the case studies for your next cases. Like for example, one patients are being treated for a certain medications for a certain time period. You have recorded everything. And then similar kind of conditions patients, if you come, then you know that what kind of treatment if you give, then so that you can get a better result without doing some left right R&Ds over there. So you have a rock solid evidence are there. You just take those informations and put it to your new patients. So that's why this data analysis is very important in nowadays. And on top of that, I think our previous speakers are also highlighted nicely that we have an involvement of artificial intelligence, machine learning. So where computers are going to suggest you that how to do that one. Okay, so say our doctors make some kind of a surgeries, and some critical surgeries I'm talking about. So some critical surgeries are done and they have recorded those evidence. And then if similar kind of surgeries are coming to the picture in future, then computer can suggest that what is the best approach to do from their previous record. Okay, so that helps a lot. That helps a lot in terms of the quick procedures, also to save the life, you know, in a critical situations. So all those things are available. So this is another way of doing the uh, data analysis. GenStacks is a new research happening in the market. I think Professor Dhrubasis talked about the genetic editings and capturing information like encoding, decoding, those things. So GenStacks is to take that how your genetics changes are happening, and depending on that, they will give you some kind of a conclusions like how to approach that particular patients and what kind of a genetic change is going to be happening to the human body. Not only human body, it's the animal body. So you just consider as a whole animal planet over here. Okay, so these are the certain areas which is available. This is AP info. Probably people who are in a medical field, you probably know this is came from the WHO. Okay, WHO. I mean to say. So WHO introduced this AP info. It's a very informative place where you can store your data for making some analytics out of that with the graphical representations and stuff. And this is an open source. Freely you can utilize these information. Just Google it. You can find out those informations over there. AP info, just remember the name. And we are not stopped just for data analytics level. We have some kind of a decision-making system. So whatever the data you have put it, you have done your data analysis, and then it's time to provide some good decisions in terms of the treatments and medications. Okay, so all your past records are going to be judged over here. They're going to analyze them and then give you certain nice information so that doctors or medical practitioners can take the advantage. All right. So this kind of informations, the softwares are already there in the market. You just need to adopt them and should know how to use them. Okay. And yeah, this is the new way of doing things. I remember in my childhood when I broke my hands, I went to the what's called radiologist, right? I guess so. Radiologist, they took my X-ray and then they from the negative, they make it as a positive kind of things, and I got some kind of a X-ray plates in my hand, and then they saw that where is the crack or broken parts, But nowadays it is become so smooth. Like there are lots of scan machines out there where you just, what is called them, lab experts, yeah. So lab expert used to take all those images, and then automatically that is through the system, it just goes to the computer monitor of the doctors, and they just check that where is the issue. So no need to do the printing and from negative to positive, all those operations are completely gone. So you are saving the lots of resources in that way, right? And yeah, if we talk about the bigger medical machines like a CT scan, MRI, ultrasounds, okay, so all those are having a image processing technology inside that, okay, and they will actually help you to say that which layer of the body parts you wanted to take that image out of that, right? So it's amazing things. Even this kind of image generations are widely used in your biochemistry industry. So if you go through certain journals, you'll find out the people are using the biochemistry level, like how the virus are moving from one direction to another direction, how they are mutating. So all those things are nowadays possible using these image generations. Okay, I have one examples over there. I think Mr. Sayok also talked about this one, like a augmented reality, virtual reality. So there's another option, it's called the mixed reality. Mixed reality is a combination of the augmented and the virtual reality. So this is the new age. So whether you are taking the health industry or the educational industry or your manufacturing industries, everywhere the augmented reality and virtual reality and mixed realities are taking place. So creating a model, learning the deep inside that model, everything are now done using these technologies. So I have one example, which is of course related to your medical field, so that you can relate with. So this is a one ESPAR project, as a large project. You can see that how these people are using. So everything is happening using your glass and your iPad right now. Okay, so they are doing this kind of task. Have a look. So this technology is called as a 3D modeling. Okay, in our design industry, we used to call 3D modeling. And tell you fact, I have implemented this concept as well. Can you see that you are reading something from that book, and immediately you can have this kind of a model ready in front of you, and you can interact with this. So this kind of things are already available in the market. They are not in a research level. They are already published in the market. You can take the advantage. Right. So now I think you can understand that where the industry is moving forward. So some people say that, okay, I passed the universities with a highest degrees and highest percentage and all those things. That is not enough, sir, right now. Take my word. So until unless you implementing the technology in your professional life, sustainability in the industry is very low in this case. In that way, I just splitted this particular industry into two parts. So when you're talking about the involvement of the technology in your medical industry, there's two parts. One is the computational environment, other is the health informatics. Okay, so if you people can think to move towards this technological part as your career path, So definitely you can look forward these areas. For example, if I just go for these computations for health area, so here obviously you should have some kind of computer science related backgrounds, as well as mixed of your healthcare related backgrounds, like biochemistry related information, biotechnology related information, and all those things. Okay, and then you can start developing all those revolutionary tools for your medical industries. So like a MRI machine, ECGs machines, these are not just created by a normal mechanic, right? So a mechanic can build only by consult with the medical expert or medical practitioners, right? So you people can stand on that particular position, and believe me, it's a huge paid job. Sometimes, take my word, it is much more fair than any practitioners like MD doctors and all those things. Okay, so your salary package would be too high compared to those people. So, but yes, obviously you have to learn both the side, like a technology as well as that your medical aspects. All right, and for to become a programmer for your healthcare industries, you have these are the different job roles you can actually look for, all those different areas. And few universities are there around the world who are providing these degrees related to that healthcare industry for the computer programmers. So I mean, if you are interested, definitely you can explore by yourself. All right. Secondly, the health informatics. This is quite easy for you people because you are already in the health industry. Just you need to know how to plot those data into the system, okay? And then you are good to go for this particular industry. And again, this is also a high paid industry, and employees are really get handsome payments over there. Yeah, so it's a huge numbers of opportunities are there. You can actually look for them. And for these also, you have a separate courses are available in lots of universities. You can check by yourself in a Google and all those places, right? You just need to have a biological or health related degrees and diplomas, and then you can go for this kind of a trainings and become this level of professionals, right? So it's a huge opportunity over there. And after these pandemics appears, nowadays even most of the people running behind this particular area, right? Because they are looking for technology as well as the health. So this particular industry never going to be die out. Okay, so every day people will be sick, and every day some medical assistance required for that people. So this industry is always alive. Okay, and with that, so you should always get connected. Okay, so staying connected is a most important aspect in today's scenario. So whether you are attending a class, whether you are consulting your patients, whether you are just running some kind of a meeting, like a professional like us, we are running almost everything over online. So whole day we are sitting in front of the computers, just like how we sit earlier in our office chair, like same way we are doing like that way. So some people say that no, I just don't need that technology now. They are getting the hit right now. So in last 3-4 months, people who are not good in a technology, they know that what is the pain. Okay, so make sure you are always up to date with the technologies and all those stuff. Okay, and for the education industries, lots of giant companies are already using revolutionary technologies. One of these technologies probably you heard, let me tell you, that is called ebooks, right? Electronics books. So it's just like a normal books which just comes in your smartphone with some kind of a ebook readers and all those stuff, right? Similarly, Apple come with another aspects, that is extension of the ebook called the iBook transform interactive books. So I just wanted to show you how these interactive books are looks like. Do I have any? Yeah, I have one is there. Many are there. I just give you one example over there. So let me open. So the way it is open, just like your normal ebook readers. So if you have ebooks in your smartphone or your computer, you can actually check that one. Now, why it is being treated as a interactive one? So that is most important. So I will show you how it is. So I just click my page. just like our normal books, right, is happening. There are no such changes. But can you see this one is written? It is actually interactable. If I tap over there, it will tell more about this information. And this is Apple's own product. It's called the iBook, and there's a technology called the Ibook Author, which will allow you to create this kind of things. It's a very easy. Actually, it's very easy. Just like how you used to create the documents in your Microsoft Word or any other word processing applications, right? So it's a very easy. Just you need to learn how to do that one. So see, these are all interactive areas. And not only that, even you can add medias like videos and all those stuff. Say, for example, this is a video, I guess. So it is an interactive video. Video also an interactive. Say, for example, I just say next. And can you see some kind of activities is happening? So this is, I will tell you what is showing. If you are trying to log in or sign into a certain resources or applications, there are lots of authentication process in between. So I'm not going deep inside that one. I'll just show you that how it is looks like. So these are typical interactive areas, right? And all those videos is running by default instead. So this is what I just wanted to show you. Like technology is not stagnant over here. It is moving every day. There are new informations are coming into the market, and if you are not up to date with that flow, then probably you'll be thrown out from the market. Yeah, I give some kind of a hard words, but that is the reality in the industry. So people who are not technologically literate, so we are all literate, we know, but if you're not a technologically literate, then it is a very tough to sustain in this today's competitive market. Okay, so with that I have done. Hope I can share some kind of a thought with you people which you can implement in your career. So back to the host. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for detailed and innovative way of presentation. You have pointed out the technology is in everywhere. It makes our life changed completely. And you talked about IoT, how technology will bring revolution in education industry.
I think Dr. Sourav, you're in mute.
Concept of biochemistry. You talked about how we are going to see the change in diagnostic process. And we are thrilled to know about the 3D technology where you are associated, which will be used in medical education. Also, you pointed out our future job opportunities in healthcare industries and education industries. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
My pleasure to be a part of this.
Thank you. So we can see that every questions are answered by the panelists. So no questions is remain unanswered. So thank you very much for all. Indeed, that was a wonderful session. I think students have learned a lot, and now is the time to when we can list up things what we have learned. First thing is that advancement of technology is not a new thing. It was there all the time. Technology has reached everywhere, and 5G will bring the revolution, and every industry including healthcare industry will change drastically, and technology will create job. So thank you again. Thank you again to Professor Dhrubasis Sarkar, Mr. Sayok Mazumdar, Mr. Rudra S Mishra, and Dr. Ericsson Global for sharing their views. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Joita, Ms. Shushmi Bishas of the examination department for selecting such relevant topic. And I would like to thank Mr. Subhra Prakash Nayek for his continuous technical support. And lastly, I would like to thank every audience to be with us and during this talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.